I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no given. Some days I don't hit, I don't sleep. When I'm focused on dangerous, down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank, I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze, the roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag, I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag, I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket, Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me elevating, got them noxious. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit, nose diving in the house and woo. Watch how I get it here, watch how I get it here, watch how I get it here.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC 293. We got Israel Adesanya taking on Sean Strickland. And yeah, I think this card from like a pay-per-view perspective is, not that amazing. This is a card that I am looking forward to, but I really struggle to, put up the $80 to watch Anton Tercale and Tyson Pedro, Justin Tafa, Austin Lane, and even the main event, like Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya. I was much rather, like to see like a Dricus du Plessis Adesanya fight instead. So it's a pay-per-view that I will not be purchasing myself, but I will be trying to watch it in other ways there. I have 8 bets on this card, 6 of which are plus money. I'll be honest, it's not my favorite betting card in the world. This is one of those cards where everything's just extremely juiced and chalky this week. Lots of really, really big favorites, a lot of favorites that are expected to come through. And I think, since football is about to start, I think, it's going to go back to normal a little bit. But yeah, lately, these favorites are just way too wide. Like Adesanya's minus 750. We have, even Justin Tafa is a big favorite. We have Carlos Ulberg as a really big favorite. Jamie Malarkey is a big favorite that tells you everything you need to know. So just really, really chalky lines. Even all the props are too chalky for my liking. So really kind of hard to find some value. But I think I did find some value. And I do like some of the spots I have this week. I'll be honest, next week in UFC Noche kind of feels more like a pay-per-view than this one. Noche next week is going to be absolute fire. But I am looking forward to this card nonetheless, and hopefully we can make some money on it. Before we get into the video, if you guys can please leave a like on the show, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. That is always much, much appreciated. Check out Prize Picks if you have not already. Use that promo code DFSBTN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. I did post my Prize Picks breakdown video earlier in the week there. But I say we get into it. We're going to kick it to the first one in the chat, and that's Sean coming in back at 3:48 Eastern time. Sean saying, let's go, Brady. Let's go, Sean. What is up? Hopefully you're doing well. We got Jack saying, Brady, this is a good money-making card. If you're a big parlay guy, it could be. It could be. I think a lot of these favorites do come through. I think a lot of these parlays do come through. I don't have any parlays myself, but, I can make a case for a couple solid parlay pieces this week for sure. We got Samuel Ramirez saying, what's up, Brady? I hope our bets hit this weekend. Yeah, me as well. Hopefully some bets come through. Bill in the chat, crush the bookies, crush the bookies. Let's do it. Let's do it. We got Jacob saying Ulberg versus Daun Bum odds got obliterated, was looking to go big. Yeah, Carlos Ulberg currently sitting around the minus 260 range. I think he's a solid parlay piece, but it is what it is. We got Jeff in the chat saying, let's go, Brady. We got my guy Lou Betcha in the chat as well, which, by the way, will be making a big return tomorrow to the Best Bet show. Really looking forward to doing a show with Lou Betcha. It's been since UFC 290 since Lou's been on. So really looking forward to having him on tomorrow there. What about Tuivasa? What about him? He's fighting. He's in the co-main event. Looking forward to that fight. But paying $80 for the fight? No, but I am looking forward to it for sure. We got LJ in the chat. This might be the end of the Pleasure Man. I hope not. The Pleasure Man, I think he's great for the sport. He's a guy that he's not that great, but I think he's going to put on a very fun fight. We got Blom saying nice Brady's live. Talk me off all my ledges. We'll see if I can help you out there. Confident picks for a parlay. It'd be like Kape and Ulberg, but even then I'm not like, running to the window to place that parlay. Any chance Tuivasa fight goes the distance, there's always a chance in MMA, and I could potentially see it, especially if Volkov's winning the fight. Got Jesse saying my job wanted a better version of me today, but I stayed up too late with Monk and Lou. Yeah, Monk and Lou were up late last night. I was able to watch a good chunk of their show. Was able to watch the Pleasure Man slander from Monk. Monk is not a big fan of the Pleasure Man. We tried to be as entertaining as this card allowed us to be. Yeah, there's some these prelims aren't the best, but it is what it is. Do you think Sean has any chance this week? Also love your page. Appreciate you, L baby. Everybody has a chance in MMA, but no, not really, to be honest. I think it's a really tough matchup for Sean Strickland here. And yeah, Sean did look pretty rough from the weight cut there. Adesanya by KO, any good? Everybody's playing it. I'm not playing it. I personally lean decision, but I do not have a bet on the main event. Racky sub, your thoughts? I bet the sub decision at plus 100 on Bet365 Sportsbook. But I think sub is most likely. And if he gets the fight down to the mat, he's going to have a significant BJJ advantage there. We got the general in the chat. What is up? Well, sorry, you caught me off guard. You're parlaying Blood Diamond? I don't know, man. I would be a heck of a parlay. Anti-Tuivasa? I don't know about that. That'd be a heck of a parlay. What do you think about Blood Diamond? He's not that great. He's 3-2 and probably shouldn't be in the UFC. And we got Eric in the chat as well. But yeah, guys, I say we start to get into it here. You think Kape by finish or KO? Yeah, I think he can finish here. We'll talk about that matchup. But I say we get into it, guys. Lots to talk about. We have a 12-fight card, and we're going to start with the first fight of the night. We got Kevin Jousset going against Kiefer Crosby. We have Jousset is the favorite, and money's been coming in on Jousset throughout the week. He was actually an underdog when he first opened at plus 190 back in August, but yeah, now he's minus 155. Kiefer Crosby plus 135 here. A spot that I was kind of considering was some violence here. It looks like the fight doesn't go to decision is getting like hammered. Probably after the ceremonial weigh-ins where Kiefer Crosby was, getting in the face of Kevin Jousset. It was probably the second most intense face-off, I'd say. So, yeah, I think money's coming in on the under for that reason. And I liked it beforehand. Anyway, the problem is, in terms of pulling the trigger on this under for me, is the fact that Kevin Jousset is just very, very low volume. He's a very good technical striker. He's a very good fighter overall, just very low volume. And he's had like multiple 5-round fights. And if you go back and watch those 5-round fights, those are like the worst fights I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he just doesn't really do much. He doesn't really have that killer instinct, and he has power. He's dangerous, but I could see a scenario where he's kind of just stick on the outside, winning minutes here, doesn't really push for that finish, and then I'm out like a unit and a half on a violence prop here. So it's a low level fight, and quite honestly, this fight probably shouldn't even be happening. This feels like a fight we should be watching on a Tuesday night for Dana White's Contender Series. I think Jousset is a good fighter. I think he's the more skilled fighter, but Kiefer Crosby is probably the guy that has a little bit more dog in him. He's going to try to push for that finish, and with pushing for that finish, he's going to leave some openings. So it would be violence if anything, but it's not really something I'm running to the window for. The under 2.5 minus 125. I see a minus 115. I don't think that's the worst look in the world, but this is a fight that I'm probably going to pass on. Nasrat is the easiest money on the card. That is a hot take there, Sean. He's like minus 600 just about. Kape and Ulberg are safe. Yeah, I think all three are pretty decent. The one that kind of worries me the most, I guess, would be Ulberg, but I feel good about Ulberg though. Oh yeah, Galoo does have the yam bags on here at what is that plus 2,000. So looking for a nut shot, looking for an eye poke, looking for a fence grab. And yeah, this I would tend to agree. I think if there's going to be a yam bag, I would say either this fight or the Pleasure Man fight, right? So I could see a point deduction in the Pleasure Man fight. Diamond has to show me something, Brady. I'm giving him one last chance. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's probably going to get the fight he wants. I mean, if Racky's smart, he's going to get the fight down to the mat, but that's not really Racky's game. So we'll see. Best bet show tomorrow. We got Lou Betcha, which is going to be awesome. And then we also have Danny Betts coming on tomorrow as well. So best bet show will be tomorrow. Hey, Brady, you don't like overs, but your overs calls hit almost all the time. They do. I called multiple overs last week and they like all hit. So yeah, you're right. They do, but I only bet overs if it like really, really sticks out. On this card, no overs like really stick out. Do you think the plant ever gets the belt? Probably not. He just doesn't do much. Diamond is Bush League. He could be. But we'll move on to the next fight. We got Shane Young taking on Gabriel Miranda. And this is a spot where I don't change my pick often, but I'm gonna go ahead and change my pick here live on air. My pick is now Gabriel Miranda, and here's why. So going into fight week, I was looking for a reason to fade Shane Young. I don't think he's that great. He's on a 3-fight skid. Shane Young is a guy that came in today at weigh-ins and looked awful. He looked defeated. He looked like he already lost the fight. He missed weight by a lot. So I'm not sure if there's an injury. I'm not sure if it was just a very, very tough weight cut, but he didn't look good whatsoever. And then even at the ceremonial weigh-ins, like he looked defeated. He looked like he didn't want to be there. And if you don't want to be there against Gabriel Miranda, Miranda's probably going to get you out of there and probably going to get you out of there early. So, I thought it was a close fight to begin with, but after, seeing Shane Young on the scales, seeing him at ceremonial weigh-ins, I kind of like Miranda here at dog money. And a lot of people seem to agree. This money line has just crashed down all the way. So Shane Young was a guy that was going all the way out to like minus 185 earlier in the week. Now he's all the way back to minus 136. And we have Miranda sitting at plus 116 after being almost plus 160 earlier in the week. So it looks like people are kind of thinking what I'm thinking here. And if Shane Young's not 100% ready to go, motivated for this fight, you don't want to, go into this fight against Miranda, an absolute killer, and be compromised. So I do like Miranda after the weigh-ins, and a spot that I do like is Miranda to win in the first or second round, plus 260 on Bet Rivers, and I put a half a unit on that. The reason being is Gabriel Miranda has a 100% finish rate, and that is in a 22 fight sample. All 16 of his wins come not only in the first 2 rounds, but all 16 of his wins come under 1.5 rounds. So I think if Miranda does come out here and get it done, I think it is going to be early. He's going to put it on Shane Young very early on. And if he can get the fight down to the mat, he's going to have a lot of finishing opportunities. So give me Miranda by first or second round finish plus 260. I think that's a lot better than playing his money line at plus 116 where it's at now. And I think Miranda's very, very live here for an early finish. Obviously, the better striker here is Shane Young, and it's really not even close. And if Shane Young can keep the fight on the feet, maybe he's able to knock out Miranda. And I was also looking at the under. The under is a very popular play this week, but the thing that scared me about the under was I'm just not sure Shane Young is finishing anybody at the UFC level. And Miranda's a guy that in 22 fights, he's been knocked out only twice in those 22 fights, and one of them was against Benoit Saint Denis. And he's not a guy that completely gasses out. All of his wins come early, but he's still fighting later into the fight. I don't think he has horrible durability, so that kind of held me off from the under. But I'm just taking the Miranda shot here after seeing Young at the weigh-ins. From a DraftKings perspective, I think Miranda 7,600 is a very good dog play. I think he's going to be either the first or second most popular dog on the entire slate. I think it's going to be pretty close between Miranda and Tai Tuivasa this week. But yeah, I think I'm going to have some Miranda for sure in DraftKings, a decent amount. I might even have to up my ownership as well after seeing Young on the scales there. Brady, we got Volkanovski self saying he's seen improvement in blood takedown defense. Nothing at all. Change your opinion on this guy. Volkanovski saying that does not change my opinion. I don't think his takedown defense is even bad. I mean, his takedown defense seems pretty good. It's just what happens when he gets down to the mat is what I don't like. I wouldn't be surprised to see Shane coming in with an injury. Yeah, I think something like that as well. He's never missed weight in the UFC before. Shane is not UFC caliber. After the miss, I like Miranda too. All of a sudden, somebody knocked at my door. I do like Miranda now after the weigh-ins. Yeah, it's going to be a round 1 sub if Miranda wins. I agree. I think round 1. What is more safe, the over 1.5 rounds for Izzy versus Strickland, or the under 4.5? I mean, it would be the over 1.5 rounds, but the over 1.5 is like minus 460, something crazy like that. And the under 4.5 is minus 140. So the obvious answer is the over 1.5 is a lot more safer there. I was big on Miranda, but I feel Shane can withstand the first round, and Miranda going the distance is shaky. Yeah, it could be. But I think Miranda's going to have some opportunities early on. This card is like the Aussie regional showcase. Yeah, it's not. It's not amazing. But we can move on to the next fight. We have Charlie Radtke going against Blood Diamond. We have Charlie Radtke as a very big favorite here. He is currently sitting at minus 310, and Blood Diamond is sitting at plus 260. So instead of laying the minus 310 on Blood Diamond, a spot that stuck out today on Bet365 was, so they have the double chance. They have the double chance decision or submission at plus money, plus 100. So I took a half unit shot on that. I was tempted all week on the submission prop, which looks like best price 190. So yeah, I don't hate the submission prop, just because if Radtke does get the fight down to the mat, I think his jiu-jitsu is very, very good, and he's going to have a significant advantage in terms of the jiu-jitsu. And I think if he does get it down to the mat like he should submit Blood Diamond pretty easily. But I like getting that decision just in case. Blood Diamond, he's never been knocked out. His only losses come by submission against Jeremiah Wells and then decision against Kosi there in a fight where he almost got subbed a couple times. So I like Radtke here. I don't like the minus 310, but to improve that minus 310, I like the submission decision double chance, just going small on it because obviously I could see a Radtke knockout potentially, but I don't really love Blood Diamond's chances in this matchup all that much. From a DraftKings perspective, I don't mind Radtke, 9,100. He should wrestle, he should grapple, and if he does, he's going to pay off this price tag and more. It just comes down to will he or not, because in a lot of his fights he doesn't really do that, but I mean, it'd be kind of foolish to not do that here. So I like Radtke from a DraftKings perspective as well, and I'm on that decision submission double chance there at plus 100 for half a unit, keeping it small there. Won 10 for 11 last week. Better believe I'm playing a 12 fight on your picks again. I wouldn't do that personally. Those are very hard to hit, but yeah, came very close last week. I think this is another week where a lot of the favorites do come through. I could see pretty much every single favorite winning, but parlaying all the picks is not really something that I do personally. Unless I go to the card. If I'm attending the card, maybe I'll do a 12-legger just for fun, but it's merely just for fun. We got Fidel saying, "What's up, Brady? Not that good of a card for a pay-per-view." I agree. It sucks that a guy with a great nickname of Chuck Buffalo is a scrub. I don't think he's that big of a scrub, but I think he's a lot better than Blood Diamond. It just goes to show how bad Blood Diamond is. I mean, this guy probably doesn't belong in the UFC. Definitely taking the stab on Radtke sub. Yeah, everybody is, and it makes sense. But he needs to get it down to the map. Let's see here. Appreciate the Bet365 perspective. Us down here in Antigua. Can't even play DraftKings. No problem. So you got Bet365. Yeah, Bet365 is a really good book. I like it. One of my favorites. We got Jason say, "What's up, Brady? Let's make some money this weekend. Let's do it." What is up, Jason? Hopefully you're doing well. Let's keep moving on to the next fight. We have Nasrat Hackbrass going against Landon Quinones. We got Hackbrass as a massive, massive favorite. He is currently sitting at minus 470, and we got Landon Quinones sitting at plus 370. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any interest in playing Hackbrass at this price tag. It's a gigantic step down in competition for Hackbrass, though. Hackbrass has been in the UFC for a very long time now. He's fought some very good guys like Dan Hooker, Drew Dober, guys like that. Landon Quinones, he's taken a astronomical step up in competition. He's coming in here on somewhat short notice. I see why Hackbrass is a favorite and a big favorite, but laying minus 500 is not really something I want to do. What I don't mind, though, is the knockout shot on Hackbrass. If he's paying off this price tag, he's knocking this guy out. Landon Quinones has never been knocked out, but he's never fought anybody anywhere near the level of caliber of Hackbrass there. And Hackbrass is not really a knockout guy inside the UFC. Outside of the UFC, he is, but in the UFC, he's knocking guys down. I think he has like 5 or 6 knockdowns, but only 1 knockout. I think this is such a step down in competition that he should be able to go out there, land a big shot, and put Quinones out. So yeah, instead of laying the minus 500 or whatever, I'm taking the knockout shot here, plus 160 for a half a unit. Nothing extremely confident, but I think, like I said, if he pays off this price tag, he's probably starting this guy. From a DraftKings perspective, 9,500. It's really hard to get there on Hack Brass when there's a lot of plays that I like that are cheaper. Like I like Carlos Ulberg more, he's cheaper. I like Justin Tafa more, cheaper. I like Radtke more, he's cheaper. And then I think there's a lot of great plays in this mid range as well. So I really struggle to get to Hack Brass at 9,500, but I don't think he's like the worst play in the world. There's just other guys I do like more. And then as far as Quinones, I'm just going to completely fade. I don't really love his chances that much in this fight. So give me Hack Brass by knockout. Small shot on the KO there. Antigua. There we go. Appreciate you, Dave, for the pronunciation there. Nasrat round 2 KO. Yeah, I can see it really being any round. I could see it being early. I could see it being late. How safe is Hack Brass by KO decision? Any chance of a sub? Well, he has 0 subs, so a submission would surprise me a tad, but we've seen crazier things. We saw Volkan Oezdemir get a sub last week, but yeah, I think it would be KO or decision. Why did they bring back this Lando manager work for the UFC? I'm not sure why they brought him in here. He's a short notice replacement. I forget who Hack Brass was supposed to fight, but I guess they're giving this guy a shot after being in the tough house. Nasrat by decision or KO, I agree. Daniel in the chat, what is up? Welcome back, Daniel. Brady, exactly. Everyone is thinking Nasrat is a decision machine, which maybe he is, but sneaky good shot on a Nasrat finish. Yeah, I do think it's pretty sneaky. He's not really been a knockout guy, but he's knocked a ton of guys down. We got Asai Padilla saying, what's up, brother? I have a good feeling about this weekend. Got to take a shot on Tuivasa. He will swing and bang for your money. Yeah, don't mind anybody taking a shot on the Tuivasa knockout prop there at big plus money. I think round 3 decision was plus money last time I looked. Don't hate that. Oh, minus 125. I would prefer plus money, but on short notice makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, it is somewhat short notice. We got Forrest in the chat saying, real talk, Brady, what is the wildlife around the house and who was at the door? I'm not sure. I'm actually kind of, I'm terrified who was at the door, but hopefully maybe it was a ghost. I don't know. So I guess there's ghosts here. The wildlife, not much going around as of late. Forrest, I'm going to be honest with you. I saw a chipmunk the other day, but not much. So how many units on Hack Brass? 0. You got wildlife, Brady? Yeah, I got wildlife for sure. 73 units on Hack Brass to win 2.2. I like it. Cash it, Lou. Cash it. It might have been Guskov. Guskov's terrifying. I wouldn't be shocked if that guy was like a serial killer in a movie or something. That guy's very terrifying looking, and his MMA skill set is even more terrifying. I need a strong 3-leg. I think a solid 3-leg is Kape, Ulberg, and Adesanya. It's plus 100. Now, I'm not doing it because I don't really do those things, but I think those are 3 guys that a lot of people would expect to come through. But we can move on to the next fight, and we have Jamie Malarkey going against John Makdessi. Yeah, this is a fight that I'm staying away from. I know Lou's in the chat right now. He would say this exact sentence. Jamie Malarkey, minus 260 in this economy. I just can't do it. I saw him at minus 180, and even then I was like, I mean, there's no way. There is a lot of reasons why Jamie Malarkey is the favorite. He's the much bigger guy. He's the much younger guy. He's the guy fighting at home. So I get why he's the favorite. I just wouldn't personally put money on Jamie Malarkey. I know everybody is, and that's great. He probably does go out there and win, but I'm just saying I'm not doing it personally. I was looking at the John Makdessi plus 3.5 point spread, which basically means John Makdessi has to win 1 round at least on the judges' scorecards, and I think that could come through. But the bookies are kind of all over it. I was hoping for plus money since he is such a big dog, but it's not plus money. It's like minus 110, minus 120. So at that point, I'm kind of content to stay away because, like I said, we are in Australia. And even if Makdessi does win rounds, the corrupt judges will probably give it to Malarkey anyway. So I expect a very close fight. I expect this fight to play out a lot closer than the line does indicate. And I think people probably do cash those Malarkey parlays, but I think it's going to be a lot sweatier than people think is all I'm saying. But I'm not touching this fight. I would never lay this chalk on Malarkey, and at the same time, I struggle to put money on a much smaller, much older John Makdessi. From a Draftkings perspective, that's where I'll be getting my exposure to John Makdessi, just because I'm not laying anywhere near 8,900 for Malarkey. And Makdessi, at the very least, he's going to come forward. He's going to throw a lot of volume, and he's very cheap on DK. And there's not a ton of dogs I like on DK as well. So don't mind some Makdessi on DraftKings there. And speaking of the wildlife, there's a cat just walked under my car, and I do not own a cat, so that's not good. But hopefully he leaves. But Strickland by sub is live. If you're banking on Strickland to submit Adesanya, I think it's going to be a kind of a rough night for you there. Sean saying absolute positive that Nasrat wins. Malarkey is a great name. I don't mind it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Strickland faked the bad weight cut. There you go. I'll pick Makdessi by decision. Not confident. Yeah, I'm not confident in this fight as well. No money on it for me. Do you see the Malarkey Makdessi going the distance? I do, and so do the bookmakers. The fight goes the distance is sitting at -190, which is the most likely fight to go the distance on the entire card. So yeah, I don't really see a finish either way. If there's a finish, it's probably, I don't know, Makdessi knocking out a chinny Malarkey, because I'm not sure Malarkey knocks out Makdessi there. But yeah, nothing on this fight. Not a big fan of it, but we can move on to the next fight. We got Jack Jenkins going against Kape Mariscal. We got Jack Jenkins is currently -201, and we have Mariscal is currently +170. I like Jack Jenkins here. I saw him at -180, and I saw a lot of love for, Kape Mariscal, so I thought I would just kind of sit back and wait, and the line kind of got away from me. At -200, like, it is what it is. I don't love the line. If I was to play this fight, I'd probably even take a shot on Jack Jenkins by decision, which is currently, I don't even know. I think I saw like +160. Yeah, +160 for Jack Jenkins by decision if I was to bet it. But I think I'm going to stay away from this one. I like, Jack Jenkins in this fight, but Kape Mariscal, this guy's definitely a dog. He's definitely going to be in a dog fight here. And I don't know. I like Jack Jenkins, but I'm not like completely sold on the guy. But I think he's going to be better everywhere this fight goes. I think he can mix in takedowns here. I think he's going to be the better striker on the feet. And I think takedowns are actually going to be a big part in this Jenkins win. Like, Jenkins has 9 takedowns between the UFC and Contender Series, and we've seen Kape Mariscal really struggle with getting taken down and getting controlled, as has Jenkins. But, I think Jenkins is going to be the one to win minutes on top. And I think this fight does go the distance as well. And if it does go the distance, we already know who it's going to. So give me Jack Jenkins, but nothing I really like from a betting perspective. And nothing I really like from a DraftKings perspective. Like 8,700 for Jenkins, I'm not too interested in. If anything, it's probably Mariscal, but this is a fight from a DraftKings perspective I'm not too high on overall. But I'm sure, Mariscal is going to be a somewhat popular dog this week. Jack Jenkins is not good. I 100% disagree. He's not dangerous at this level. Maybe he's not dangerous, but I mean, saying Jack Jenkins is not good is just a dumb comment, to be honest. He's a very good fighter. I heard Mariscal trains with Justin Gaethje. That he does. I have Mariscal to pull off the upset. He's going to fight for your money, that's for sure. Solid 8 legs don't exist. No, they do not. Brady, if you're giving me legs, give me a solid 8 leg. Yeah, solid 8 legs do not exist. Jenkins by decision. I'm leaning that way as well. Yeah, so many people are high on Mariscal. After that, the Trevor Peek fight, a lot of people are very high on Kape, where he looked really good against Trevor Peek, but Trevor Peek is nothing like Jack Jenkins whatsoever. Just two completely different fighters. Kape will win. We shall see. No Jenkins leg break this time. I don't think so. Jenkins has a mustache. Always fade the mustache. There's a lot of mustaches on this card. I think a lot of the mustaches will come through as well. Strickland had a bad weight cut. That's what he's saying. By not good, I mean for the UFC level, he seems like a fraud. I don't know about fraud. I think he is UFC level. I mean, he's got a good win against Jamal Emmers. I thought he lost that fight, but Jamal Emmers is much better than Kape Mariscal. He'd be I think you're cutting him a little bit too short. I mean, he'd be a terrific bar fighter. I mean, Jack Jenkins is very good and improving. We got Mr. Ant saying Tafa inside the distance, Ulberg inside the distance, Adesanya inside the distance, parlay. If we're talking maybe like a Hail Mary type thing, maybe. I like Tafa inside the distance a lot, Ulberg inside the distance a lot, Adesanya inside the distance. I know everybody likes it. I personally don't. I kind of lean decision. I know Adesanya's saying all week, oh, he's going to finish him. But I bet you he's going to dance around Sean Strickland. And I don't know. I guess he could finish Sean Strickland, but Strickland's super tough. And Adesanya goes to decision a lot. I know he knocked out, Alex Pereira, but he goes to decision a lot. Got Clint. Yeah, Clint's been on a roll this year. He's super high and on and parlaying Jack Jenkins. Well, I think that parlay piece comes through. Jenkins is washed. I mean, Jenkins is he's only 30 years old. I think he might even be younger or the same age as Chepe Mariscal. We got Aiken saying, Brady, I just want to say thank you for last week's predictions. I won a large amount of money thanks to your predictions. Glad I can help, Aiken. Maybe, hopefully I can help again this week. All right, we'll move on. So we have Carlos Ulberg going against Da-Un Bum. I think this is the featured prelim here. So, yeah, I have a bet here. I have 1.25 units on Carlos Ulberg to win this fight by knockout at minus 125, so 1.25 units to win 1 unit. And this spot all week has kind of sketched me out a little bit because I really like Ulberg in this matchup, but this line has just not moved literally all week. He's been around the 245 to 260 range the entire week, and it looks like he was even like minus 275 last week, minus 265 September 3rd, and then now he's minus 260. So money's actually came in on Da-Un Jung. I'm not sure who or why anybody's betting Da-Un Jung, but it's kind of sketching me out a little bit because nobody's on Carlos Ulberg from what I've seen. Everybody's parlaying up Carlos Ulberg. He's a very popular parlay piece, and I do think he comes through. But the one thing in the back of my head that worries me is if Da-Un Bum comes in here and decides to wrestle, and that's like the one thing because Ulberg, we haven't seen his takedown defense tested. We haven't seen his ground game tested at all. And Da-Un Jung has done it once, but he has done it nonetheless, shown the ability to go out there and wrestle for 15 minutes when he did it against William Knight, taking him down 9 times. So that is like the one spot that kind of worries me with Da-Un Jung. But if he goes out there and strikes with Ulberg, kind of how I expect, I think Ulberg's going to knock him out probably in the first round. I don't think Da-Un Jung has anything for Ulberg on the feet whatsoever. I think Ulberg is a much better striker, very powerful, and he's going out there and knocking out very durable guys. And Da-Un Jung is also a very durable guy, but Carlos Ulberg knocking out a guy, a Nikolai Negumerean, who just speaks volumes. I mean, Negumerean is a guy that I thought would never, ever get knocked out, but Ulberg was able to get him out of there in the first. So I like Ulberg, but I'm taking him to win by knockout. I don't hate him as a parlay piece, but like I said, everybody's doing it, and the line's not moving and sketching me out a little bit, but he should be okay. All right. Ulberg showed good grappling against Sharant. Sharant is not great. Not great. Carlos round 1. I lean round 1 as well. Ulberg got a nice fight here. I think so too. Let's see. Not a soul that I've heard has taken Da. Yeah, I haven't really heard anybody take Da-Un Jung. Which is weird. So everybody's parlaying up Ulberg. I almost did as well. And if I was to do a parlay this week, he probably would be in it, but just something in the back of my head's scaring me a little bit, but he should be okay. Do you think from a daily fantasy perspective, putting Sean Strickland as your one dog and he gets enough points in a loss could be optimal? It all depends. Like last week, no underdogs won outside of Cornell. And on the optimal lineup, there was a loser, and it was Reese McKee. I forget how much he scored, but he was actually in the optimal lineup as a loser. And if all these favorites come through, like a lot of people expect them to, and they are expected to, and Sean Strickland loses but puts up 40, 50 points, yeah, he could be optimal in a loss. So that's why I did sprinkle some of them. I like Sean Strickland a lot more from a cash games perspective, because if you put Sean Strickland in cash, you can build any lineup you want. But yeah, I guess it all depends, if some of these dogs come through or not. So we'll see. Seems like a setup fight for Ulberg in his hometown. You know what to do. It does. It does seem like a setup fight there. Ulberg's gas tank is sketchy, though. It could be. It could be. Don't be scared. KO round one. I mean, I'm not. I put money on him. I already bet the knockout, but I'm scared of like laying minus 300 on the guy is all. Because you have to kind of be a little bit wary when laying this much of a price tag. Who are you more confident on, Nasrat or Ulberg? I'd say Nasrat just because I think his opponent Quinones is a lot worse than Jung. So I'd say Nasrat from that aspect, but I'd say I'm decently confident in Ulberg, enough to put 1.25 units on his knockout prop there. Israel, the last dog bender via rear naked stroke. There you go. Brady, if Jung loses, can he rematch Albie? Maybe. I forget which promotion Albie's fighting in now. Is it like bare knuckle boxing? Albie's doing something, but maybe they can rematch in there. Maybe a bare knuckle boxing match between Sam Alvey and Da Jung. I could see it. Why has Kape grown some balls? I mean, this guy's had some balls. I think people are just finally starting to see it. We got Tony Montana in the chat. I don't know if you're trolling, but you're saying, what is this parlay you were talking about? It's not that thing from the Pirates of the Caribbean, right? I'm from Europe, so I'm confused. A parlay is where you put, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Either fighters or, props together, and you parlay them together. You put them together. All right. Let's move on. Almost saying, when you say 1 unit, what do you mean? So 1 unit for me is 1% of my bankroll, and 1 unit for me is $100, but it could be different for anybody. I know people that have a $500 unit. Some people might have a $1,000 unit. Some people might have a $5 unit. It's just, something that you use to help track and for bankroll management there. One unit for me is 23. I wish it was 23 million. I wish it was. Andrew, appreciate the kind words, saying the amount you provide is spoiling Brady. Thank you. Anytime. Glad I can help there. Brady, we're talking bare knuckle MMA. Are you watching the free Game Bread fight card on YouTube today? It starts at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah, I did see he's doing a card, which is kind of weird. I'm just now hearing about it today. I think I saw like JDS is headlining it. Yeah, I saw like a tweet on that today. So it hasn't really been promoted that well, but yeah, if I'm not doing anything, I might catch it there. We have Jung, second round ground and pound TKO. At least we found somebody on Da Jung that helps me a little bit as well. Show us your unit. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, so I'm not gonna do that. And Lou is right. We should definitely move on to the people's main event. We have the pleasure man Anton Tercale going against Tyson Pedro. And by the way, this is a fight that we're expected as fans to cough up $80 for. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, this is such a low level fight, but this fight is going to be hilarious nonetheless. Yeah, Tercale is, I'd say, one of the more popular plays of the week. This is a guy in Tercale who was a big dog last week. Everybody came in on him. The line actually flipped, but it looks like there's been a lot of buyback on Tyson Pedro, and it's about a pick 'em. We have Pedro minus 114 currently on BetOnline, and Anton Tercale minus 106. And for me, I don't really know what's going to happen here. I like the fact that if this fight does reach the second round, it heavily favors Tercale. Pedro's a guy that in the first round, I think, skill for skill, he's the much more skilled fighter. I mean, Tercale just leaves a lot to be desired. 0 striking defense. The striking's not that great. 0 takedown defense whatsoever. He makes mistake after mistake after mistake. But what Tercale does have is 2 attributes that I think win him this fight, and the attributes are cardio and toughness. And he has both of those, and he has great cardio. He can go 15 minutes, and he has great toughness. This guy can eat an absolute shot. So it all comes down to, does he survive the first 5 minutes? Tyson Pedro is going to be dangerous early. whether on the feet or on the ground. Tyson Pedro, very good grappler, but he has some pop in his punches as well. And yeah, if Tercale can get it extended, what I would do instead of taking Tercale at like minus 105 right now, I would kind of look at it from like a live bet perspective, because there's a good chance that Pedro does finish Tercale in the first round. There really is. Tercale is super hittable, super sloppy on the feet and on the mat. And Pedro is going to have 5 minutes to do it. But if he does not finish the Pleasure Man in 5 minutes, it's going to be the Pleasure Man that is going to finish this fight probably in the second or third round. So I don't really love anything in this fight. What I did do, though, was I took a half unit shot of the fight to end by submission at plus 250, which that line really stuck out to me, because you take a look at Pedro, like he has more submission wins than he has knockout wins. This guy's a black belt in BJJ. Yeah, 56% of his wins come by submission, 44% by knockout. And Anton Tercale, this is a guy that wrestles. He gets the fight down to the mat. This is a guy in Tercale who's landing 7 takedowns per 15 minutes. So I think this fight is actually going to take place on the mat for a good portion. And like I said, you're not really knocking out Anton Tercale. This guy can take an absolute shot, but I could see Pedro submitting him in the first round. And then on the flip side, I think Tercale is going to consistently take down Pedro, make him work, and I could see him tapping out Pedro in the second or third. So that's how I'm attacking it. Obviously, I could see a knockout. I could even see a decision here, like a greasy, sloppy decision. But I'll take the fight ends by sub 50 for a half a unit. I think this is a fight that is borderline, like must target on DraftKings, just because Pedro has a lot of first round upside here at 8,000. If he wins, it's probably done in the first 5 minutes. And in terms of Tercale, he has a ton of takedown upside, control time upside, and late finish upside in his own right. So I love this fight from a DraftKings perspective. And I'll also be looking at Tercale as a live bet there. Daniel is back after getting blocked for 5 minutes. There you go. Welcome back, Daniel. Monk actually hates the Pleasure Man. Like, he's not a big fan at all. Pleasure Man versus Pedro on the main card. That's all you need to know about how awful this pay-per-view is. Yeah, it's kind of rough. I don't want to buy and boost the weird dog eyes numbers. I hate him very, very much. Streams. Yeah, I think we're talking about Adesanya there. Close fight, either guy can win. That's why it's a pick 'em. Reshawn horrible pay-per-view. We got Troy in the chat saying thanks. Been killing it since the Lewis card, and even hit $200 on Prize Picks last week. There you go. And information is so helpful and right on point. Much appreciated. Appreciate you, Troy Brown. Hopefully you keep killing it there. Tercale is a real moron, a certified. I kind of agree with that. I think he's not all there, but he is entertaining nonetheless. Pleasure Man by finish for sure. We got DB saying, "What's up, Brady? What is up, DB?" Taking the Pleasure Man by decision or late finish. Yeah, I think it's 2-3 or even decision. I could see it. F365 has Tyson Pedro over 0.5 takedowns at plus 150. Feel like that doesn't add up based on, and yeah, Anton has the worst takedown defense ever. I mean, Vitor Petrino took this guy down like 6-7 times. I think on paper it's like 16%. So if Pedro attempts a takedown, he's getting it. So I don't hate the plus 150. We got Propaholic in the building. What is up, Propaholic? I saw Propaholic ordered himself a closing line value trophy, so we both got one there. Heck yeah, I like it. Twitter will be fun after this fight. Is there like a Twitter war going around? I from what I've seen, Lou, everybody loves the Pleasure Man besides one man, and that one man is Monk. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to the Pleasure Man. The one thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way about the Pleasure Man, though, was his last fight, where I watched an interview with him, and he said, and I quote, something along the lines of, "I'm going to pleasure the fans with my performance," right? And I'm sitting there, ready to be pleasured. And I watched the Petrino Tercale fight, and it's like the worst fight I've ever seen in my life. It's very sloppy. There's a lot of mistakes. I lost, I think, 3 or 4 years off my life just watching that fight. So I'm hoping he comes in here with a more pleasurable performance than last time, because last time was not great whatsoever. Is it weird? I have a bad feeling that Sean Strickland is going to be minus 115 after round 3. Yeah, kind of. I'd be kind of surprised, but you never know. I'm running the Nasrat and Jack Jenkins fantasy score on Prize Picks. Thoughts? I don't know about the Jenkins one, is kind of iffy, but I do like the Nasrat one, because I think Nasrat can either A, put up a lot of volume, and I think B is live for a knockout. But the Jack Jenkins one, I'm not overly excited about, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. No happy ending for the pleasure man. Tyson is to Buku. Yeah, I don't know. I have to see if there's a happy ending or not. Yeah, Monk has been going in on him. He definitely has. So we'll see if he's right. I mean, I'm picking the pleasure man with no confidence, because you can't be confident. This guy he's kind of terrible, but he has cardio and a chin, and that could be enough here to win this fight. All right, guys, moving on. We have another fight on the pay-per-view. We have Justin Tafa going against Austin Lane, which could be one of the lowest level fights ever on a pay-per-view. I mean, this is about as low level as it gets. Austin Lane, probably one of the worst heavyweights in the UFC now that Vandera's cut, and now that Hunsucker, unfortunately, has been cut. And then we have Justin Tafa, a guy that actually lost to Jared Vandera. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any lower level than this, but at least somebody should get knocked out, and that should be fun to watch. So for me, I took a 1-unit shot, and maybe this was a little bit too aggressive. Maybe this is, too much money on this fight, but I took a 1-unit shot on Justin Tafa to win by first round knockout at plus 160. I think that's his path to victory here. I think that's how he gets it done. Austin Lane, very poor striking defense. Austin Lane's been knocked out 3 times, and all 3 of those times come in the first round. Not only that, this fight is heavily favored to end under 1.5 rounds. It's like something ridiculous to end under 1.5. Like minus to end under 1.5 rounds, it's minus 210, 220, 230, 240 even. And then the fight to end in the first round, like minus 135 to minus 150. So not only is it favored to end inside 7.5 minutes, it's favored to end inside 5 minutes. And I think, Justin Tafa is going to be, the one getting the knockout here. I have some serious concerns about the people that take into account anything that happened in the first fight, because the first fight literally was like 30 seconds long. And I think we're going. I think in that fight, by the way, Lane did land some shots early, but I think it was only a matter of time before Tafa did close distance and land a big shot and put out Austin Lane, who's very hittable, very chinny. So yeah, I like Tafa here. Minus 200. It's you don't really want to lay minus 200 on a guy that lost to Jared Vandera, but I like the knockout prop, the first round knockout prop as well, at plus 160. Not the best price tag in the world, but they're all over violence, right? Like the fight doesn't go as minus 800, minus 900. So give me some violence here and give me Tafa to implement that violence. I like Tafa on DraftKings 9,000 first round knockout upside, and even like Lane on DraftKings at 7,200. It shouldn't be ignored. This is a sloppy, low level heavyweight fight. Justin Tafa is not that great as well. So Austin Lane, as far as a pump play, is not the worst look in the world, I'd say. Lane is huge. Yes, he is. He's going to be the much bigger fighter. I'm going with Lane. Don't like how Tuivasa or Tafa lost to Vandera. I don't like that as well. Top to jump the cage and KO Izzy. It could be worth a shot. It could be worth a shot there. Does Lane have KO power in return? In terms of power, I mean, the power advantage is all in favor of Tafa. Lane has some power, but Tafa is the much, much harder hitter. Pepe Silva. Ooh, this is a good narrative. Thinks we can have a revenge Yambags here at the interesting look. So, yeah, could see a potential eye poke from the Tafa side this time. Maybe see another no contest here. I don't mind that look. I really think violence is the answer here. Same here. Round 1, the first minute is plus 450. They are all over it and much, much more. Hey, this fight should be better than Ngannou versus Lewis. I mean, I hope so. I certainly hope so. Tafa will get his chin KO first round. That's how I'm seeing it also. Minus 800 for the fight doesn't go. I think Kape finishes. We'll talk very, very soon about that. All right, guys, we're going to keep moving on. We have 3 fights left. Before we do so, if you guys have not already, be sure to smash the like button and let's try to get those likes up. Also, subscribe to the channel. We have Best Bet returning tomorrow. It's been a while since I've done it. We've had these weird like Singapore cards that are starting at like 5 o'clock in the morning. We had the card last week in France that started early as well. We finally have a normal start time, so bringing back the Best Bet. And we got our guy Lou Betcha returning tomorrow, and then also Danny Betts. Looking forward to the show tomorrow there. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Next, we have Manel Kape going against Felipe dos Santos. Money has been pouring in on Kape throughout the week. I think the money line is approaching, a lot more to where I think it should be, and I think it probably should even be a little bit wider. But he was sitting around like minus 380, 90 for a while. He's now in the like minus 425 to minus 450 range here. So I have two bets on this fight. These were the first two bets I placed of the week, and I do have to shout out my Uncle Wheezy that brought this to my attention. We have Kape by sub, which a lot of people are on this week. It looks like this sub line has got hammered, but Uncle Weezy pointed it out. Plus 1600 opener. I put a quarter unit on that, and it's still like plus 1,000, plus 950 there. I think it could be a solid look here, just due to the fact that Kape is heavily favored to finish this fight inside the distance. Now, Kape inside the distance is currently like minus 225 now on BetOnline Sportsbook. You can still get minus 175 on some books, but yeah, Kape's heavily favored to finish this fight inside the distance. This guy Kape is now a black belt in BJJ, and he almost got a submission in the Dvorak fight. I mean, anybody else in the division would have tapped. He almost ripped Dvorak's arm off. It was ridiculous how tough David Dvorak is. But yeah, I think Kape could sub this guy. Obviously, I do lean knockout, but the knockout prop is like minus 130, minus 170, I see. So I took a small shot on the Kape submission. Shout out to Uncle Weezy for that. And then I also bet Kape inside the distance. Beat a lot of line movement, minus 115. I like that bet a lot. Probably should have went heavier. Not sure why I didn't, but wasn't really expecting the line to move that much. But yeah, so I'm on Kape inside the distance, Kape by sub, 1.25 units total on those two, hoping for some violence here. Felipe Dos Santos has never been finished, but I mean, this is just, the biggest step up in competition I've ever seen in my life. I mean, going from, fighting on the Contender Series back in week 2 or week 3, getting his fight canceled, to taking on Kape, who's a top 10 flyweight, and in my opinion, very soon to be a top 5 flyweight. I just don't really love his chances here. He leaves a lot of openings. He's very aggressive, very hittable. Takedown defense is not there. I think Kape has a lot of avenues to not only win this fight, but win it in very dominant fashion. And on top of that, Kape seems to be extra motivated. Kape seems to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder this week. Guys keep pulling out on him. Alex Perez pulled out, I think, on fight day. We had Kai Kara France pull out as well. Kape seems a little bit pissed off, and a pissed off Kape seems, pretty terrifying. And this guy, Felipe Dos Santos, seems like he's going to go out there and bang with him. So I think somebody's getting finished here. Violence is absolutely the answer, but the violence numbers have been getting wrecked throughout the week. Kape inside the distance has been getting wrecked. The fight as it goes has been getting wrecked. I think everybody's on it at this point. From a Draftkings perspective, Kape, 9.3K. I love it. I think he has finish upside. I think he's one of the safer plays on the card. I have a sprinkle of Felipe Dos Santos, but more so a price thing. I think Kape gets it done here. I think Kape finishes, yes, by Kimura, potentially. We'll see. Should have done the 5 a.m. card. I mean, I guess you could have. I mean, I don't think I was up, though. Actually, I was up. I think I woke up like right at 5:15, though. I think I missed the first fight. Have a huge stake on Kape. I like it. I mean, he's probably the guy I feel most comfortable about this week. So, I mean, if he lost, I mean, that wouldn't be good for me because I like him a lot this week. Very confident in him here. I don't like how Santos will fight into Kape style. Yes, 100%. Where the counters and body shots will be open all day. Yeah, the body is wide open. So Kape get hurt in the body. And like I said, I think, Santos ground game, the takedown defense is not there. Kape wins, probably makes optimal lineup. I like it. Top second round here is my pick. Brady is Kape, the most hated man at UFC Sydney. I think it's between Kape and Adesanya was getting a lot of boos as well. So I guess people in Sydney don't really like Adesanya. But yeah, I think it's between those two. Probably Kape, though. Really? Yeah, Jussie is always bringing up, I think it's Jussie. He's always bringing up these crazy sub numbers. Plus 5,000 for Kimura. There you go. He almost got it against Dvorak. Kape by decision looks juicy and live. No, why finish? He will maybe, but just as likely he coast. I mean, Kape's a finisher. I mean, he's finishing like most of his fights. On paper, he has a 90% finish rate. So, I mean, he's not really a decision guy. And actually, in decisions, Kape is, let's take a look. In decisions, Kape is like 2-4 in decisions. So if it actually goes to decision, I'm actually kind of concerned if he even wins the fight, to be honest, because He's not really good at decisions. Oh, and I think he's 1-2 in decisions in the UFC. Got the inside the distance at -115 as well. Brady, let's go. Yeah, great line there. Glad you can get that, Propaholic. Kape is a honey badger. Seeing that Santos kid at the press conference yesterday was a weird sight. Yeah, this fight's a weird sight in general. Like, this fight probably shouldn't even be happening. I guess pay-per-view main cards are the new Contender Series. I guess so, right? How is there a 500-plus person roster that they can't find a replacement without going outside the org? I'm not sure what they're doing on some of these fights. I feel like we're on like a 17-week stretch. I think we're in week 15. I think they're really struggling to fill up some of these cards. Like next week for UFC Noche, we have like Josephine Knutson versus like Marnik McMahon. I mean, it's ridiculous what they're doing. So some of these matchups are just ridiculous. Nate, this is definitely a very Dana White's Contender Series card, especially undercard. I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah, Cop will be looking for 50K. I like the card tomorrow. I like it. I don't love it. I don't want to pay $80 for it. I think I've bought every pay-per-view this year, to be honest. But this one I'm not buying. No problem. Blum dog. Daniel is back once again after getting it timed out. Again, Daniel, you keep getting timed out. What's going on, man? What's going on? All right. Next, we have the co-main event. We got Alexander Volkov going against Tai Tuivasa. Yeah, so this one for me, I get why Volkov's the favorite. Volkov's going to be much bigger. I think in terms of like who's the better mixed martial artist, it's no question who that is, right? Alexander Volkov is the much better mixed martial artist, the much better striker. He has a lot more tools on the feet, a lot more volume. Like I said, he's much bigger as well. So there's a reason Volkov's a favorite. But in heavyweight, I mean, that doesn't always matter. I mean, in heavyweight, you don't have to be the better fighter. If you have power, which Tai Tuivasa does, it can definitely end your night. So I think Tai Tuivasa is live in that aspect. I really like Tai Tuivasa from a Draftkings perspective more than anything. I think he's between my first or second favorite dog. It's between him or Gabriel Miranda this week because he's 7,400. He's going to go out there looking to take off Volkov's head, and that's exactly what you want from somebody who is 7,400. I did see Tuivasa knockout at plus 320. I didn't really mind that. It got hit, though. I think it's like plus 300. I still don't mind a sprinkle on Tuivasa by knockout. I haven't bet it yet. I'm not sure if I will, but I think that's obviously his path to victory. The reason I'm not like running to the window for it, because like I said, there are a lot of reasons to like Volkov, but I think Tai Tuivasa is live here, and but I do like him on DraftKings more than anything. So I'm going to take Tuivasa on DraftKings from a betting perspective. Not much sticking out except maybe a sprinkle on Tuivasa by KO. I'm not going 5 units on Tuivasa like Clint. Shout out to Clint having an amazing year. He went 5 units on Tai Tuivasa. Bold, but if he hits that, I mean, that's going to be a ridiculous hit for him there. So yeah, no bet on this fight for me. I like violence, obviously, but as do the bookies. The fight doesn't go is like minus 325, which I actually think is kind of ridiculous. The over-under is set at 1.5. It's a pick 'em either way. I could lean under. I could also lean over. So just nothing really sticking out here to the point I really want to put my money on it. Fun fight, though. I'm looking forward to it. Hoping Tuivasa can pull off the upset here. We shall see. I see Volkov kicking Tuivasa in the stomach and getting a KO. Yeah, that stuck out to me on tape as well. Volkov has very good teep kicks to the body, and Tuivasa was getting hurt to the body a couple times against Cyril Gane. So I think that can actually be in play there. Tai is sleeping Volkov. He will certainly try to. This card is weird. The main event on paper is not exciting. I mean, I could care less about the main event. I mean, I'm not looking forward to Adesanya, Sean Strickland. I was looking forward to the press conference though. The press conference was fun, but in terms of the fight itself, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be exciting. I don't know. I don't see it though. Tuivasa by KO or Volkov by decision. The thing is, I could see Volkov knocking him out is the only thing. No bet is a smart bet for this fight. Yeah, I mean, I'm not loving anything on this fight. If Volkov starts winning, it could go to decision. Yeah, if it goes to decision, it's Volkov. I mean, Tuivasa is not winning a decision really against anybody. I think Tuivasa has one decision ever. Volkov was close in significant strikes against Gane, and Gane ate Tai up. Yep, that Volkov fight was a lot closer than the Tai Tuivasa Gane fight was. Over 1.5 for this one on my parlay. Yeah, it's about a pick 'em. I don't hate it, but it could also lose. But it could also go over 1.5. I don't have a strong lean one way or another on it. So yeah, staying away from this co-main event. All right, guys, it is time. We have the main event: Israel Adesanya taking on Sean Strickland. Adesanya, an astronomical favorite, currently sitting at minus 650. I see him minus 900 on a book as I check the odds, 750 on FanDuel. So yeah, big favorite here for Adesanya. I mean, nothing sticking out here. The fight doesn't go is a very popular play, and I think that has a lot to do with Adesanya saying all week that he will knock out Strickland or he's going to sub Strickland, but that's all talk. I think he could finish Strickland, but if it does happen, I think it's probably going to be late. I kind of took a look at like the late Israel Adesanya props, 3, 4, 5, but they're not that great. Round 3 plus 700, which plus 700, that's what I paid for Max Holloway, plus 700 for round 3. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. Round 4 plus 1,100 best price. That's terrible. And then round 5 looks like plus 1,000. I mean, they're not juicy enough for me to even think about taking shots. One spot I did look at was like the round 4 or 5 decision for Adesanya. It's minus 115. It didn't quite get there. I'm just gonna pass on this main event. This is a main event that I'm not too excited for. I'm really not. I think it's a very easy matchup for Israel Adesanya. I think Sean Strickland's going to go in there and do just what Adesanya wants, which is going to come forward. And I think Adesanya is going to run circles around him for 25 minutes or potentially catch the chin at some point. So, yeah, I like Adesanya, but what are you going to do? I mean, you don't want to parlay him at minus 650 unless you want to do it like a 3-leg parlay to barely get plus money, but that's not really something I want to do. From a DraftKings perspective, I mean, it's an easy fade on Adesanya. Adesanya is not going to wrestle. He's kind of low volume. Adesanya is a terrible DraftKings scorer, so I hope people play him at 9,700. And if anything on DraftKings, I will be taking some shots on Strickland just because of the price, 6,500. Like even in a loss, like somebody else in the chat said earlier, like if all these favorites win and Strickland loses, but he puts up like 40-50 in a 5-round fight in a loss, he could still be optimal. But in cash games is where I love Strickland this week. Just because you can build any lineup you want with them. So that's how I'm attacking it. Strickland from a cash perspective for the most part on DraftKings. No bet for me on this one. And this is one of those spots where if you are betting the Adesanya by knockout, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of smash TVs and smashed walls this week because betting on Adesanya to finish fights is very frustrating at times because he's content a lot of times kind of just to stick on the outside, pick you apart, put on a masterclass, but not really chase the finish. And I could see that here. I could see Adesanya just dominating him, sticking on the outside, staying safe and picking apart for 25 minutes. I mean, Adesanya has so many decisions in the UFC that are 5 rounds. Cannonier, 5-round decision. Whitaker, 5-round decision. Vittori, 5-round decision. Even went 5 with Jan Blachowicz. Romero, 5-round decision. He went 5 rounds with Kelvin Gastelum. He went 5 rounds, I believe, with Brad Tavares as well back in the day. So he does go 5 rounds a lot, but everybody's on the violence. We'll see if it hits for you guys, but I'm not betting this fight. Not unbettable fight for me. I'm not taking any stupid shots like a Adesanya by submission. None of that. I'm just staying away here. All right. Strickland, round 3, round 4, plus 5,000. I will have no money on Strickland. I don't like his chances in this matchup. I don't like it. But plus 4 or 5,000. I mean, plus 5,000. It is what it is. It's a sprinkle, and if it does hit, you're going to be very excited to go. Izzy's going to piece him up. I agree. Might as well do Izzy sub. I'm okay. I mean, I think Izzy sub's not even a good price. I think people are betting it down. Izzy by submission is currently plus 1,600 best price. I mean, he's not submitting. It's not happening. I mean, unless it's like a club and sub, it had to be a club and sub, but Izzy's not submitting Sean Strickland. Strickland by sub, yeah, plus 2,500 on BetOnline, it looked like. LPX saying, thanks for the content, Brady. Good luck this week and hope you and your family are well. Appreciate you, LPX. Best of luck to you as well. Strickland, round 5, sub via old school Big Brother style bully joke. We shall see. I roll with Strickland. Best live dogs, I think Tai Tuivasa's live. I think Gabriel Miranda's very live as well. And there's not there's no dog in the Tercale fight at this point. Austin Lane's probably a live dog just because it's a sloppy, low-level heavyweight fight. But I think a lot of these favorites probably do roll. Last Saturday was my birthday. Happy late birthday. Also had a 82 times parlay. There you go. Happy birthday. Glad you can cash that. Tuivasa is a good dog. Tyson Pedro, even money is a steal. It could look like a steal or it could look the opposite of a steal. I think, whoever wins that Tercale fight is going to look like a massive favorite. Over 4.5 rounds, plus 120. I played that. I know Wheezy's on the over. I can see it hitting, but I don't know. I can also see it not hitting, so we'll see. Ulberg, Pedro, Tafa, and Tuivasa, Samoan special parlay plus 550. Tuivasa, Samoan. It's only plus 550 with Ty in there. Well, good luck on that. Good luck as well, Lou. We'll talk to you tomorrow. What's your parlay, bro? I don't have a parlay. No parlays for me. I know this is a parlay card, but I've been trying to just really pick my spots on these parlays. I was actually going through my results and looking at my parlay results for this year, and I've hit 9 of my last 10 parlays, which is very good. And the reason I am having a lot of success on these parlays is because I'm not going out there and parlaying like Carlos Ulberg or Justin Tafa or some of these guys, right? I'm really picking my spots on these parlays. But so yeah, no parlays for me, but I'm sure a lot of parlays will come through. But maybe some parlays will be busted. Maybe some of these dogs will come through. We'll have to see. No parlay boo. I know everybody loves the parlays. Parlays are awesome. Vegas was built on parlays, and Vegas loves them. But I try to be very selective with the parlays. That's just me. But I know a lot of people disagree. They do their 15, their 20 leg parlays, but that's not really my betting style, unfortunately. Good luck to you as well, Blom Dog. All right, yeah. Somebody asked for a quick recap of the bets. Yeah, not a ton of action this week. Manel Kape inside the distance, 1 unit minus 115. Kape submission, quarter unit plus 16. Ulberg KO 1.25 units minus 125. Tafa KO 1 unit plus 160. Tercale Pedro fight and sub, half a unit plus 250. Hack Brass knockout, half a unit plus 160. Miranda wins in round 1 or round 2, half a unit plus 260. Radtke sub or decision, half a unit plus 100. Those are the bets, keeping it small, short, and sweet. I like next week a lot better from a betting perspective, to be honest. And I'm going to have a couple very big bets next week. Very, very big bets next week. You see a lot of Australian fighters winning? Absolutely. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to, kind of like the France card last week. A lot of the French fighters came through. I think it's the same thing here. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you guys could, leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow for best bet. Going like an hour or two before the prelims, around there. I think the prelims start at like 6:30. So something like that. And yes, sir, Troy, the prize picks video is out. Put it out on Tuesday or Wednesday. So go check that out. But yeah, guys, best of luck for UFC 293. And we'll talk to you soon. See you later.